Hello everyone, Josh first back again, bringing you guys some more OvrHit, and hopefully the mic isn't messing up. I have to have the fan on. It's very hot. We're having like a heat wave right now, but that's besides the point. Anyways, we got the two new SSR heroes, and I haven't really done this yet on the channel, so I'm going to do it now, and I'm going to say, are these two new heroes worth it? First, let's go ahead and check out their banner. So let's go down here to Gotcha. Where did it? Right there. So, new hero chance boost, Gotcha. High chance to obtain new heroes. Summon R to SSR heroes. Of course, we got Norn, who is a light hero, and then we have Rin, which is a water hero. So we're getting another water hero. We've had quite a bit the past few weeks. I mean, we've had Iroha, for example. We've got Rin now. We had a Colette event going on at first when the game dropped for global. So we also had Rito as well. So we've had quite a bit of water hero SSRs kind of thrown at us. But is Rin worth it? Is Norn worth it? And Rin, I mean, if it was Rin from Fate, we know it's worth it totally. Everybody knows Rin. Awesome. Just joking. That's a completely different anime and game altogether. And I'm still waiting for my freaking Fate collab. Damn it, Nexon. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the two new units, and then we'll showcase kind of their skills, see, what we think. I'm going to give them a grading scale between a C and an S, because no SSR in a game is lower than a C. I mean, they're all still pretty decent compared to SRs. So let's go ahead and take a look at the guide here. And we are going to be looking at three different things for each character. How good are they going to be in Raid right now? How good are they going to be in PvP right now? And when I mean right now, I mean like the actual meta right now. And how good are they going to be in PvE right now, which would be up to Chapter 15 of Hard Mode, okay? So first, we're going to go ahead and look at Kingdom of Partia, because that is where our girl Rin is located. So that is Rin. That is their design. Coral Spire Pupil, voiced by Yuki Kuwahara. Hero info. An apprentice mage setting at the Coral Spire, Rin is both talented at magic and prone to making devastating errors. Doesn't that sound a lot like the other Rin that I was just referring to a little bit ago in a video? Interesting. She can be kind and compassionate, but her well-meaning gestures tend to annoy whomever she's trying to help. Shiro. So, very cool little backstory there. We're going to look at a 3D model. You guys can see it. I love her hairstyle, her color as well, that aqua teal. I love that kind of hair. Very cool looking color. What are people saying about her? I understand all that totally. Not really. I don't understand a damn thing that those people said. So that's not going to be very helpful. So it's going to be all up to us to decide how good she really is, since nobody is speaking English on a English version of the game. But whatever. All right. So her leader skill. Garuda's Blessing. If there are at least 3 water allies, increase allies' crit damage by 15% and increase defense of allies by 10%. That is actually it's a pretty bad leader skill. The reason why is a lot of leader skills that involve around anything that's not attack isn't very good as a leader skill, because pretty much almost all heroes in the game are relying on getting their attack stat as high as possible, because that's what a lot of their skills are based on. So her leader skill is actually pretty bad, honestly. So she's going to lose a little bit of value there as a leader, but as a unit on your team, not as your leader. Let's see what she can do. All right. Sylphi Twilight, 72-second cooldown, so she's definitely in that tier 3, tier 4 range when it comes to cooldown for S1. Remove 1 buff from enemy times 1. Regular damage, deal damage equal to 246.8% of attack to enemy times 1. Okay. Now, we're not going to say anything about the skills, really, until we look at the max skills, because that's where it's going to matter. And then her S2 is a 94-second, so that would also be around a tier 3, tier 4 when it comes to skill cooldowns for an S2, because that's actually up there pretty high as well. Sulfide Breath, regular damage, deal damage equal to 149.1% of attack to enemies times 4. Debuff, decrease attack of enemy times 1 by 35.6%, success rate 100%. Now that's actually a very good debuff, but again, we're not going to really talk about the skills until we see them at max. And then her Grim Passive effect, increase own attack by 5% when all attack is triggered. Can be stacked. Can be stacked. That is very important. And since there doesn't seem to be any kind of stack limitation, pretty much every time any attack is triggered, she's just going to keep getting attack 5%. That's pretty crazy. So the longer the fight goes on, the stronger she's going to get. So in terms of possibly dealing with, I'm just trying to think where she'd be good right now. You got Ignis, not really an AoE heavy raid boss, and then you also have Rip. So so her raid's really not gonna be, she's not gonna be too great in raid because she is, from what I can tell, an AoE heavy unit. She does have that S1 though, but it's a very high cooldown. Her S2 is AoE, her S1 is single target, but it's very high cooldown. Ooh, 72 seconds. So if you can give her a lot of skill cooldown reduction and get that to around maybe the mid 60-second mark, then it's not as bad. And then you can pretty much put her on your second or third rotation and just keep getting her attack up in between. You could do that, and then she might hit pretty hard in a long-going raid fight with her S1. But we're gonna talk about that when we see her max S1. That's gonna really sway what I feel about her raid score, because if it gets really high, then she can be really good if she picks up an additional buff and stuff like that as well. Otherwise, we'll see. So again, we're gonna keep all those scores until after we see the max stats, but. I'm on the fence. I'm 50-50 right now how good she's going to be in Raid against Fire Raid and of course, Ignis at Sanctum. So, we shall see. Let's go ahead and check her skills out in action, and then we're going to go ahead and look at Norn, our light hero. All right, so she gets just what? The typical, 80% on that single target on her normal attack. Okay. And is it 80% as on that as well? Yep, 80% on her critical attack as well. Okay. Let's go and do her S1. Removing buffs and all that good stuff. And then here we go. Her S2. Wow, they really tried to get that.
You must like me.
Thanks so much for that subscription. I love when that happens during a video. So we got a lot of upskirt there. So I guess for you fellas out there that are into that waifu thingy or whatever, if you consider her of age, I guess. Then you got a little upskirt action on the S2. So there you fellas go, I guess. So there's some props to you. All right, so let's go back to the guide. And again, we're going to be looking at their max skills at the end. So stay put. Let's go to Hero Guide. I believe the other one was in Industria. Yes, there's Norn. Okay. So now we have Norn, the Defender of Justice. What is this? Defender of Justice. No, where does that ring a bell? Defender of Justice kind of reminds me of like an old classic comic book version of Batman. Interesting. You could also, I guess you could say that's a One Punch Man type of reference right now, or a My Hero Academia type of thing. Very interesting. She's definitely got like that super hero in type of backstory. I even see it how it even types. It even says reckless super heroine in her description. So that's pretty cool. And she is voiced by Hitomi Owada. Originally just a regular high school student, Norn decided to become a hero after finding 3 advanced drones. And so the previously introverted and timid girl became a bold and borderline reckless superheroine. Interesting. So she just wanted to be a hero. Just like Saitama. She's like, what, is she female Saitama? Interesting. Okay, let's look at her 3D model. Yeah, they definitely didn't give her much skirt there. Damn, I'm actually surprised this made it into the game. Usually we get hit with that censorship over here in global side of things. Next one's just like, nah, bro. We spent so much money. We went completely over the censorship. We don't got censorship in OvrHit. You crazy? Damn. All right, now what are people saying about her? Are we gonna get some English in here? Excellent AoE. Okay, AoE is everything. Strong AoE skills. Alright, so people are digging her AoE skills, so we're going to have to go and take a look at those. What's her leader skill? Increase attack of magic type allies by 20%, so that'll go up to 40% at max. If there are at least 3 light allies, decrease allies taken damage by 5%, which will go up to 10%. I like that leader skill a lot better than Rin's. It goes up to 40% and 10% damage taken. It's still not a good leader, though. It's a lot better than Rin's, but it's still not useful as a normal leader skill because that 10% damage taken really isn't that significant when people are mostly already in PvP over damaging you in the first place, including bosses, like raid bosses. They're already hitting you for a ton of damage. That 10% is going to be almost not noticeable, and that's if you max her at +5. So, and that 40% to magic type, that limits your team to being magic type only if you want to make use of that. So it's a very situational leader skill. And the fact that you have to run at least 3 light allies. And the fact that it only goes up to 40%, which is pretty low because a lot of the mono leads start out at 40%. And then you take them up to 65% when you max them out. So they're gaining an additional 25% on what her leader skill is. So it's not a very good leader skill. I wouldn't run either of these new units as a leader. So if you're looking for a new leader, neither of these units are going to fill that role for you. Let's go ahead and look at her S1. Justice Flash, 56 seconds. That's around tier 2 in terms of my personal cooldown timer for her S1. Not bad. Regular damage, deal damage equal to 209.5% of attack to 4 enemies. So a not too shabby for an S1 AoE, to be honest. And then her S2 is another 90-second plus, so this is definitely a tier 3-4 on terms of cooldown for an S2. Dragon Flare, love that name. Regular damage, deal damage equal to 171.1% of attack to 4 enemies, so that's an AoE as well. Additional damage, deal additional fixed damage of 70.6% of attack to dark enemies. Interesting. So she is a dark team killer. She is anti-dark, and the fact that she's already a light type anyway, she's already going to hit dark types pretty hard in the first place. So add that on top, and that's a lot of damage. Now, it's interesting. It says deal additional fixed damage, but then uses a percentage instead of a flat number. That is interesting. So, whew. All right. That means that basically it's going to work just like normal flat fixed damage. So she's always going to hit at base, no upping her skills, obviously. It's going to hit 70.6% of whatever her current attack is, no matter what. And of course, unless you have fixed damage reduction as armor, on your as your substats, on your gear. Rather, that's the only way you're gonna be able to reduce that. Otherwise, she's gonna be hitting you for that much on dark types no matter what. So that's kind of what that's telling you. It's basically the same as a flat stat, but they're using a percentage instead. Which percentage? Judging by 70 point, I'm trying to think. That's probably actually gonna come out to be a lot better than a flat stat. So it's actually pretty good. That's a pretty good S2. Neuron Wave. Status effect inflicts silence on hit targets when active skills is triggered. Success rate 30%. Duration for 20 seconds. It does increase her own attack by 10.6%. I was almost going to say, that's kind of meh. It's only a 30% chance. That's not very great. I mean, it is 30% chance. But here's the thing. Let me take a moment to say this. A lot of people forget to talk about this. But when you have an AoE attacker and they do an AoE attack, that's 30% success rate per hit. So if you're attacking 5 targets, she has 30% chance to get a silence off 5 different times on each target. Not 5 times per target, 5 times total, once per target, if that makes sense. So basically, if I'm hitting 5 targets, I have 30% chance to land a silence on them, on them, on them, on them, and on them, etc., etc. So 30% could still land maybe 1 or 2, maybe even 3 silences. You never know on average. It depends. It's still a low percentage, but the increased own attack by 10.6% is still really good. So that's still, a pretty modest, pretty decent passive. I think the increased attack does save it. The silence, when it does go off, that's great. So not bad. Let's go and see her in action. Whew. Mouthful here to talk about today. All right, it's 80% both. So we're just going to go and show those off real quick if you guys are interested in her base skills. I like how I did criticals with both those. Okay. That reminds me of Yuna from Epic 7. That attack. What? It like totally reminded me of Yuna from Epic 7. That is cool. That reminds me of Digimon. Omegamon, Omnimon, however you guys want to call it, depending on where you're from. Oh boy, you know what I'm talking about. Let's do that again. Tell me this don't remind you of Digimon with Omnimon or Omegamon. Look at this. Look. Come on, tell me. Tell me that's not Digimon inspired right there. Tell me. Alright. So that's pretty cool. And that is the two heroes. Now let's go ahead and look at their max stats. We're going to jump over here to the browser. So thank you so much to the OvrHit Global Discord. I asked a few people, got a couple people that pulled a dupe of at least both these heroes. So I was able to get these images for you guys early. And here we go. So Norn's max S1 goes up to 293% to 4 enemies. Pretty good for 56-second cooldown, so that's a very good AoE S1, to be honest. It doesn't pick up any additional stats or buffs or anything like that, but damage-wise, just pure damage, not too bad. You know, you're looking at 293%. That's not bad in its own right on just 3 enemies, but she's getting 4. That's really good. All right. Now her S2 goes up to 200, let's just call it 240% to 5 enemies, so she's hitting the whole field. Additional damage up to 88.3%. So let's just say against dark units, she's doing well over 300% to 5 enemies if they're all dark. So she's going to be an Angelo killer if she goes first, because it is going to come down to a speed battle. If Angelo goes first, he's probably going to take her out. But if she goes first, she might take him out. So they're a very good counter to each other. But the fact that the majority of the meta right now is still really dark heavy, she's going to do very well. The only problem that I'm having with Norn is if you run into any teams that don't run very many dark units, she's not going to be very good. Because then you're going to be relying on just that 239.5% and that 293.3% solely. That is it. You're not going to get anything additional from her. And with the fact that her cooldown on her S2 is 95 seconds, you're only going to be able to use that probably one time, which is sometimes really all you need in PvP, because most PvP matches are over in about 2 to 3 turns tops, and then it's GG at that point. Plus, you're going to have other heroes to take their turns and stuff like that before or after her anyway, when she does use her S2. So, it's not really a big deal. What I do like, though, is that her S1, since it does have a nice attack stat of 293% on 4 enemies, you can kind of pick and choose how you want to attack when you are facing different teams. If you are facing a dark heavy team, you use her S2. If you're not facing a very heavy dark team, you use her S1. So it's very nice that you are able to kind of have a little bit of that control over her against teams, even if they're not running dark types. If they're running a lot of just mixed whatever, she still, being a light hero, still gives her no disadvantages outside of being hit hard by a dark type unit. So that's still good. So I mean, she's pretty damn good for an AoE. I'm not going to say she's better than Angelo. I would say she's like a female version of Angelo. Maybe not quite on par with him, because he still has a lot of things going on in his S1 and S2 that just make him retarded good. But I would say that she's very close. She's very close to being as good as Angelo. And since Angelo, in my opinion, is one of the top tier units in the game right now, she's sitting up there pretty. So she's very good. She's definitely worth it, especially if you're running into a lot of dark teams and you just want to wipe them out. Great. She's going to be good in PvE as well, because there's a lot of dark units that are bosses that you're going to have to face, like 1310, the 1510, I believe, as well. You know, the Damians and stuff like that. You got to fight in between, all that good stuff. So you're going to be fighting a lot of dark units, and her being able to just annihilate them with that S2 is going to be very clutch. So in terms of PvE, you know, she's going to be strong. Double AoE attacks, that's always going to be strong in PvE. The fact she's a light type is going to be great. So yeah, PvE, I'd give her an A. I'm not going to give anybody an S. An S is just too unrealistic for these two heroes. They're not that busted. But for PvE, I'll give her an S. For PvP, I will also give her an S. Why did I say S? I mean A. An A in both. My bad. And in Raid is a lot more different, because I feel like since she has no single target moves, and the dark raid that we currently have right now doesn't have anything that requires AoE, she's not going to be very great in raid, because in raid she's still only going to hit like a little over 300% on that S2, and there's a lot of other better units right now that are hitting way harder than 300% on dark raid, so on Fafnir. So I'm not going to give her a very good score for raid at all. PvE high, PvP high. I'd give her like a low rating, like a C. I'm not going to go no lower than a C. I'll give her a C, okay? So, you know, on average, she's like a BB plus for me, to be honest. She's getting an AA and a C from me, personally. I would give her an S if she didn't have that dark type restriction on that S2 and she just got that flat 300% to 5 enemies. That would be insane. She would definitely get an S from me for PvP. But the fact that she doesn't, like I said, I'm not going to push that high. That's going a little bit too unrealistic. So I'm going to give her A, and a C. That's just me personally. That's what I feel. If you guys have a better rating for her, let me know in the comment section below. If you agree or disagree, again, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about Norn. Again, I feel like she's a BB plus to me. Very strong, very good. 2 out of the 3 game modes, she's going to prevail and prosper and excel. Any other word you want to use. So very good unit. Going on to the next one. Sorry, this image is a little bit smaller, but I got to work with what I got. Now, this is Rin. She has a 72-second cooldown her S1 and a 94-second her S2, so she got some pretty long cooldowns, but let's see if they're worth the wait. So her S1 goes up to remove 1 debuff from enemy times 1, so that stays the same. Her damage dealt goes up to 345.5% to one enemy. And she gets a buff, cast barrier on ally times 3 that block up to 2,706 plus 18.6% of attack worth of damage. 100% chance to apply on allies times 3 with the lowest HP duration, 30 seconds. So that barrier is not too strong. A lot of people are sitting there looking at that. 2,700, that's a lot. No. The way that these units are hitting in this game, that 2,700 will get obliterated instantly and then some. So I'm just not really a big fan of barriers in this game. None of them have really stood out and said, wow, that barrier's really strong. No. Unfortunately, that barrier is not strong. So her S1 really didn't pick up too much for me personally to make it really be worth that 72-second cooldown. I do like the 345.5% of attack. That's kind of around mid-tier when it comes to single target DPS. And the fact that she is water, she's going to hit the fire raid bosses pretty hard with that S1. So she does pick up a little bit of value with that. Her S2 goes up to 208% to enemies times 5. So she's going to hit the whole board. Debuff, decrease attack of enemy times 1 by 40.2%. So she's not getting too much more in the decreased attack. She's not picking up an additional enemy on that decrease either. It just stays at 40%. She does gain at 200% though. But she can keep building her attack thanks to that passive. And we cannot forget about her grimoire. That passive will keep raising her attack if she's in a long fight. So I actually feel, now this may not be a popular opinion, but when you actually sit there and you do the math quickly, you know, some quick math, people, her S1 can actually get pretty damn scary over time against raids. So, in raids, I think she actually will excel. I actually am going to give her, believe it or not, I'm going to give her an S. And the reason why I'm going to give her an S is because that S1 paired with a proper leader that's boosting water type units like 40 to 65%, she is going to hit pretty damn hard with that S1. And the fact that she's removing a one buff from the enemy as well, which is also going to be great on a raid boss, since there's only one enemy there for her raid bosses that she's going to be competing in, that's going to work perfect. That is going to work exceptionally well. You put her with a defense breaking unit, possibly, if you got one, she's going to hit the very, very hard on them raid bosses, because that 345% could easily get up over 400% if you get into a long fight because of her grimoire. So if you have her with your grimoire, because remember, we're taking these units and we're scaling them based on their maximum. You know, having their grimoire, having them at +5, having great gear. That's how we're grading these units. So like I said, with Norn, I gave her a BB plus, which is, I feel like it's pretty reasonable for her. Now, in terms of PvP and PvE, this is where it's going to get a little bit interesting, because that decreased attack is very good. Decreased attack is much superior than, more superior rather than reducing damage. Because the problem is with reducing damage is they can still hit you with status effects, and it's still going to hit you for the maximum since you didn't actually affect their attack. While decreasing attack actually will lower status effects as well. So her S2 with the decreased attack is very good on that one enemy by 40%. That will also still be very useful in raids because there's only one enemy for her fire raids that she's going to be participating in. So her S2 is still going to be very strong in raid just for the decreased attack of 40% alone, on top of her S1 being able to get possibly over 400% plus depending how long the fight goes. I mean, if you go the full 5 minutes, she could be hitting retarded numbers by the end of it because of her grimoire. So that's why I'm giving her an S in raid. I just feel like she has all the tools necessary to excel in raid to very, very high standards. So I'm actually going to give her the maximum score of an S in raid. I know some of you may want to give her an A, maybe an A+, but I feel that she, with the right setup, with the right team, she could excel in raid very, very much so on a water team. Very much so, because of that grimoire really will boost her quite a bit. And then you have PvP and PvE again. Where do we put her for that? In PvP, her single target at 345% is not going to help with that Grim because, again, you're not going to be in a long-term fight in PvP because PvP is usually over in 2 to 3 turns. So she's not going to be able to really make use of that with that 72-second cooldown and that 94-second cooldown on an S2. She might get one hit in with both skills, and that's it. And, again, there's so many other units out there in the game right now that are doing both those for PvP a lot better, so I can't put her up there in a higher tier. I'm going to go ahead and give her a B in PvP because I feel like she's still going to be bringing some attack. That decreased attack of 40%, even if it hits one random enemy, it doesn't matter. It's still helping your team out overall. 345% still isn't nothing to sneeze at. The removal of a buff could help as well. The barrier might be able to, put you in a survivable mode. I don't know really what the word I'm thinking of here. It'll put you in a survivable position, possibly. 2,700 plus 18%, almost 19% of whatever attack is, if you get it up to like 8, 9K, depending. And then add on the leader skill on top of that, bring her up to like 12, 13K maybe. That barrier might be able to help you survive a big AoE hit from Angelo, possibly in PvP. I'm still not a big fan of it, but it could help you in some situations, so it's not all bad. But I feel like she definitely is behind a lot of other units in terms of PvP. I'm not going to sit there and gush all over like a lot of other people are I've seen, because she's not that broken or even really broken at all. I feel like raid, she's going to excel. PvP, she's around kind of mid-tier, so I put her at a B. And when we're thinking of PvE, I feel like that AoE times 5 and decrease attack, it's still kind of the same for me when it comes to PvP in terms of what she's going to be able to do, because so many units do those jobs that she's trying to do better. For raid, with the way that raids work, how you can take advantage of a full 5-minute clock, you could keep building up with that Grim, but in PvE, I feel like it's just so quick. Things just go so quick with these high cooldowns and whatever other units you're running your team. I just feel like there's a lot of units that are going to do that job better too, so I'm going to give her another B. I don't want to be too harsh on her because she's not bad. She does bring some damage with her. She does bring some utility with that barrier, with the removal of buffs, with the decreasing attack of one enemy. I just feel like if that decreased attack was like times 2, times 3, it would have been a lot better for PvP and PvE. But since it doesn't, I can't really give her high grades in those two. So I'm going to give her a B in both of those. So she's going to actually come out with an S and a BB, which, overall, I'm probably doing my math wrong here. I'm just trying to wing it because the video is getting pretty long. I'm just going to go ahead and give her a B plus A overall, somewhere around there, B plus to an A. So she is slightly better, in my opinion, than Norn. Again, she's excelling at raid, while as Norn is excelling in the other two modes. So depending on what you want and what you need, you could choose which one to go for. Are they both worth going for? Absolutely. They're both great for their specific areas of need. So that's going to be it for me. It was a very long video. Hopefully I didn't take too long. I probably did. I talked a lot, but it's all good. Hopefully I kept it interesting. I just wanted to get the full details of my personal opinion on both these units out there for you guys to kind of digest, and let me know what you guys think. Were my ratings spot on? Were they a little bit low, a little bit high? Would you change some things? Let me know what you think about these units in the comment section below, and I hope you guys all enjoyed. Please subscribe for more content here on the channel, and until next time, I hope you guys all have an awesome day wherever you are. Until then, peace.